What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unplayable. I'm DHaus, and I am back here to bore Jay to sleep. Mike, how you doing?
I'm so good, man.
So good. I missed you guys last week.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yeah.
But you watched it and you were like, oh, wow. This is the best episode yet.
It's great. Yeah.
The perfect episode, some would say.
Yeah. Lots of good structure, strong content, guys. I think I'll miss more podcasts in the future.
Yeah. Very, very structured, rigid, totally on track the whole time.
I think Mike did a really good job. You did a bang up job.
I appreciate that.
So good. So good. So good. Thank you, Discord, for saving that podcast. But this is the Conversation Lab, not the Conversion Lab, not the Conservation Lab, which one of the locals here started calling it. Not anything else. It's the Conversation Lab.
I don't know why I did this, but I rewatched the clip of the video that we did where I kept saying it wrong. And the one that I thought was right, the first thing I said was conversion or was I can't even do it now. Was Conservation Lab. I was like Energy Conservation Lab. No, yeah. I stuttered at the beginning. I was just like, it's something. And I was like, Conservation Lab, as if that was exactly what it was. And you were like, nope, try again.
No.
I think it's just one of those words that your mind automatically fills in the middle.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that you're not reading it right.
Yeah.
That is so good.
But it was a funny moment. I want to clip it and find a way to do something funny with it.
Yep, 100%. That with Bethnick Two Tubes and old Jay. Yeah, Bethnick. Yeah. All right, guys. So I've got some ideas for today's podcast. Today is going to be the Palpatine Appreciation Podcast because we finally got the last leader for Star Wars Unlimited. Palpatine himself got dropped this morning. Everyone was waiting for it. Everyone had kind of predicted it. He's finally here. So to kick things off, I want to know, what is your favorite Palpatine moment in any of the Star Wars lore? Fun. Just favorite Palpatine moment. When you think Palpatine, like, this was the moment that I love it. Obviously, it's probably Mace Windu dying, right?
There's a different scene that I think of when I think, oh, this is Palpatine, and then what my favorite Palpatine.
Okay, all right, then just stick with favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
I'll go with the scene in Clone Wars when you fight Maul and Savage.
Oh, and Savage.
You took mine.
So good.
That's a pretty good scene.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be so hard now that you've reminded me that media
Clone
outside outside the movies exists. Because there's a lot of cool scenes in Clone Wars with him, but specifically that there's in Rebels when he's chasing Ezra and Ahsoka through the world between worlds. Mm-hmm. That's super cool. And then I don't know. I mean, there's cool moments in the comics and stuff like that too. If I'm sticking with movies though, it's so hard to separate out.
It doesn't have to be movies.
Well, I got to put boundaries around myself.
Okay. All right.
I'll just spin out of control. It's hard for me to separate the scenes that I like him in from the memes. Because the memes are so good.
Yeah.
So it's either when he's telling Anakin to kill Count Dooku.
Dang it, that's my second one. You guys are taking my
Do it now. The second favorite, I guess, which is another meme, is
Senate.
I am the Senate. It's just such a badass line, and he says it with such poison in his mouth. Right. It's so good.
It's it's the cat's finally out of the bag after all these years, and he's using the fact that he has manipulated everything to that I control everything now.
Yeah, that's
I am everything.
Yeah, it's so sick. It's so sick. I mean, there's some great moments in the original trilogy as well. I guess the scene with Vader and Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi. That's just so good. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think I picture Clone Wars Palpatine more than I picture the other. Oh, you know what?
It's because he's barely in.
My favorite Palpatine moment is when he somehow returns. Why didn't I say that at first?
I don't think you're allowed to say that.
I mean, he does look kind of cool when he's on the little claw thing. That's just
and he's shooting
around.
Force lightning up into space.
Yeah, that's something.
I mean, was a scene.
What about his corkscrew lightsaber maneuver when the Jedi Council shows up and he
Isn't that when he's fighting Yoda? Or okay, it's like the Palpatine's arrest.
Yeah. When they come in and these two Jedi masters like die within 2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And then it's just Kit Fisto.
Is it Eat Koth, Kit Fisto, and Mace Windu? Is it those?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. It's like, guys. This old man's got moves. Here we go. Gosh, those are good ones. Moments. But truly mine is when he fights Maul and Savage in Clone Wars. Because that was like, when they show up, epic. Like, you just don't, you're like, oh, are they going to, like, really give him a challenge here? And it was nothing. It was nothing. Like, that would, to me, I'm like, oh, that's what he looks like. That's how powerful he is. So. Yeah. So good. Okay, so as part of the Palpatine Appreciation Podcast, we can't start this off without talking about the man, the myth, the legend himself. We're talking about Palpatine leaders. So we've got our 18th leader for this first set. I'm going to read off some statistics, and then we're just going to chat about our kind of very fresh reactions to him, having been spoiled 4 hours ago. But he's Palpatine Galactic Ruler. We're talking green villain. It has an action, pay 1, exhaust, defeat a friendly unit to deal 1 damage to a unit and draw a card. He's got 4 tags: Force, Imperial, Sith, Official, and then the epic action. If you control 8 or more resources, deploy this leader. He is a rare for drafting reasons. Then on his unit side, he is a 4/10. When deployed, take control of a damaged non-leader unit, which is important to remember. And then on attack, you may defeat another friendly unit. If you do, deal 1 damage to a unit and draw a card. Deploys at 8, 4/10. Whew. What are we thinking?
I love him.
I think he's real good. Let's evaluate the leader side first.
Yeah, that's good. That's
good. His ability is non-resource costed, exhaust, defeat.
It does cost 1 resource.
It costs 1.
All right, that's what I meant. Sorry, 1 resource costed, and then defeat a unit, draw a card, deal 1 damage. On the surface, that doesn't sound that good.
Right.
Like,
I agree with that.
You're losing a unit and drawing a card, so like the card math is 1 for 1. So you're not like gaining a card or anything. Card advantage.
Sometimes you're gaining a card.
If you're
depending on what the unit is, I think.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Super Laser Technician is the obvious like first thing that your mind goes to, which is when it dies, it becomes a resource, and it's ready. So you like if you do that with Palpatine's ability, you're essentially not paying for his ability that turn.
Right.
And you get to deal 1 damage to something, and you get to draw a card, and you get to guarantee that your Super Laser Technician dies. I agree with you on the surface. Like maybe it doesn't seem great, but I think even that interaction like proves that there are ways to make it work to your favor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to. It's like the other cards that make it valuable.
Yeah, what are the other when defeated abilities that you'd be looking?
Motti.
Yeah. So Motti costs 2. He's a 1/1. When defeated, you ready a villain unit.
It's basically, and usually you have to wait till Motti can attack something to be able to do it. But it's like with this, you can play him and defeat him on the same turn. Same with Super Laser Tech.
Yep. Any other when defeated abilities?
There's a Vanguard, I think, infantry that when it gets defeated, you get to give an experience token to something. There's the spaceship that when it dies, you draw a card. Is it when it dies, or is
that's when it enters play?
That's the patrolling V-wing.
There's one in red where when you play it, it deals 2 damage to your opponent's base and to a unit, and when it dies, you do the same. So you could potentially do something with that.
Yeah, you got the distant patroller in blue. When defeated, give a shield token to a blue unit. But the shield, it's interesting too, because then if you're defeating a unit, it just ignores the shield.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly the Super Laser Tech and Motti seem to be the strongest.
Yeah, those are the 2 most obvious for sure. Yeah.
But then you get to the other side of the card.
Right.
Yeah. So it comes out on 8 resources, and it's a 4/10.
8. How do you feel about the 8 deploy?
It's late for sure.
You gotta get there.
It's late, but it's in the color that can ramp.
Yeah, because you've got Super Laser Tech, you got resupply, you've got
potentially command.
Command if you're running it in green. Yep.
Yeah, that is all accurate.
I played a game against Jay earlier before this podcast, and I triple ramped that game. Got a command out, and then the next turn a super laser tech and a resupply, and then flip Palp right there
on turn 5 or on what would be. I was on 5 resources.
Yeah, you were on.
Right?
So I was on turn 4 of the game.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So
brutal.
Okay.
We'll let you guys watch the video and see what happened
before
after
I
that.
even flipped Grand Inquisitor. So he got his Palpatine out.
Okay, so what about this? What about this when deployed? Take control of a damaged non-leader unit.
Busted.
Insane.
How easy is it? Do you think to be able to trigger that?
Well, he triggers it himself with his own ability.
He does the damage.
So you do it first, but theoretically, the opponent could just try to kill that unit.
They could try, but what if you don't have a unit?
Kill it? Okay.
I mean, I think you play Palpatine and you try to set up a scenario where you're stealing something, and you're stealing something that's good.
Yeah, like a Seventh Sister or Baze Malbus.
Just random examples.
Oh yeah, something with grit. That's interesting.
I mean, I imagine a common thing will be your opponent plays Darth Vader, they ambush into one of your things, and then you flip Palpatine and steal their Darth Vader.
That's spicy.
So
but you can't do that, right? Like if you know your opponent has then flipping Palpatine,
you can't ambush in with Vader. Yeah,
no.
That is.
But even that in and of itself is powerful.
Yeah.
Palpatine's
flip is insane. Stealing a unit.
Playing around that's
massive.
Gonna be,
and it's like your opponent doesn't ever get it back until it dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's not like Change of Heart or like Traitorous where they have a moment to get it back.
So your unit gets stolen by Palpatine, and then you play Change of Heart and bring it back to your side.
And then it goes back to the end of
it goes back to.
Well, hang on.
Is that how that works?
How does that work?
I think
it goes back to its owner.
Yeah, it goes back to its owner, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
So Change of Heart could
But if you are
insurance?
Palpatine, you can Change of Heart, use their character, and then defeat it with Palpatine's ability.
Yeah, which is super
a friendly unit.
Yeah,
which is insane too.
That's really so powerful. But that's how Palpatine should feel, right? I mean, we don't want.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's like you convinced him to come. He convinced you to come to his side, and then he kills you.
Yeah, that's good.
That's very Palpatine.
This Palpatine's not running double blinks and getting easy pickings out of a turn.
No, absolutely not.
No, yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, as a leader that flips at 8 resources, it's got to do something really powerful like that, right? So cool to see. Do you also play
Traitorous? Do you also play Traitorous in that deck?
Maybe
in a Palpatine deck,
because you can steal
stealing
kill
all their units, and then you flip and steal another unit.
Build the whole just steal everything deck. 3 Traitorous, 3 Cunning, or not Cunning, 3 Change of Heart.
Change of Heart.
That might be too much.
No, it's fine.
I don't know. It's fine. Okay,
it's fine.
Okay, so
let the meme be a dream.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, all right. So Palpatine. I think we're saying Palpatine feels correctly like this is powerful.
Feels
Palpatine
like
should
Emperor
be.
Palpatine.
It should be Palpatine. So where does he struggle? Where do you think he's going to struggle?
I saw someone play this earlier today on Outmaneuver, and I didn't think of it before, but I think you have to play. All right, I think it's good to play Traitorous against Palpatine because he doesn't play upgrade removal, and being able to take his Royal Guards is super good because those Royal Guards are nuts.
Yeah, Royal Guards are really good with Palpatine. It's 3/5.
Mike, what do Royal Guards say? Can you teach us something about?
No, I can't.
I have
no idea what they do.
Mike always forgets the Sentinel.
Always forget the Sentinel. Yeah.
Always.
So they have Sentinel while you have an official.
3/4.
Yeah, it's 3 cost 3/4, but it gains +1 health when you have Palpatine either as a unit or a leader, and it gains Sentinel while you have an official unit. Yeah. But some people don't make it super obvious that their units have Sentinel, and so
you know what I just considered? This never even but if you're running Palpatine Red at 8. You could drop the Palpatine unit and damage as whatever you want with the 6 damage and then pop the Palpatine over if you really wanted to.
That's definitely fun.
I want to see the Palpatine showcase.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Show me the showcase. Show me the showcase.
That's good. That's amazing. So, all right. So where do you think? So you think Traitorous is a good
probably good against him. I think. I mean, if we're taking traditional TCG archetypes, Palpatine seems pretty control oriented, and it usually struggles against really fast aggro.
Yep.
The thing to consider is that the Royal Guards are so powerful and are a lot of health to chew through, but either if you don't draw them or if the aggro player figures out how to turn off their Sentinel, then I feel like aggro could still come out ahead there. So I think time will tell,
really
right?
Fast.
Yeah.
So like Palpatine has to take off turns if he's playing Super Laser Tech or Command or Resupply. So an aggro deck that can take advantage of like just going face really hard on those turns can probably do well. I played more of a mid-range control-y deck into Palpatine, which is probably just a better control deck. So yeah, I think you're right. Aggro probably can punish him a little bit.
Okay, let's talk about Palpatine in Limited and Sealed and Draft. Let's say
that'd be interesting.
Is he a rare?
Yeah, he is a rare. But in the weird scenario,
we don't know how often rares show up in that slot yet, right?
I don't.
I can't keep all that straight.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's too many. There are other people out there with spreadsheets and things. But even just comparing the green villain leaders like Tarkin and Palpatine in Limited,
I'd probably rather play Tarkin.
Probably me too.
Okay, why?
I feel like
easier to use.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be easier to build a deck around Tarkin because there's so many like Imperial units in the set that you could just like end up with a pile of Imperials and just like have a fine deck. Whereas Palpatine, you probably need a more specific deck that like really slants towards stalling you to the late game because I don't know how fast the draft format will be, but if it ends before 8 resources generally, then your leader never flipped and you felt really sad. Like you're not going to be able to draw as many, or not draw, but like draft as many ramp cards as you probably want in your deck. So
yeah, I think Tarkin coming out at 5 is good for when you're talking about Limited. The only weird thing is, if you get a big draft pool that doesn't have a ton of Imperials, then his ability is basically useless, and you've got a 2/7.
There's so many Imperials though in like the set. I feel like
all the villain cards are Imperial.
Yeah, almost all for sure. It's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, Palpatine seems all right.
Yeah, and constructed.
Yeah, and constructed. Yes, and again, even just the 4 tags, the Force, Imperial, Sith, Official. That's. I think that's the first time we've seen 4 tags. So
a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot of unique things you can do.
It should also have the Senate.
Yeah, I should say the Senate.
That's good.
I hope. Yeah, one day they'll have to create a subtitle: the Chancellor Palpatine, the Senate.
That's so good. That's so good. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna swerve. I'm gonna introduce a Discord question that we got. I was gonna do questions at the end, but I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt this podcast with a question from good old Inception. Can't sell shoe.
You missed one.
I did.
Yeah, Inception, trash, can't sell shoe.
Oh, sorry. You're right. All right. Now that we got all 18 leaders, we got all 18 now, guys. There's no more surprises that we know of.
That's a lot of leaders. I don't know if we've like really appreciated that. That's a lot of different leaders.
Lot of unique things. We have
all of them already.
So March 8th, who are you building? You got all your stuff. You got to actually start building something. Let's pretend you got all the things you needed for whatever this deck is. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh,
like I have a full play set of the set. Okay,
which you probably will because you got what 1,800 boxes or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I mean, maybe I'm just really hyped about Palpatine right now because he's the newest spoiled leader, but that's probably the first I'll build.
Okay.
What about you, David?
Yeah,
because I'm still choosing.
I'm between Krennic and Tarkin. I've really enjoyed playing with both of them, and if you push me, I'd probably say Krennic. Honestly, I just love that guy, even though as a character, I don't really like him. Like in the movie, I mean, he's good. I shouldn't say I don't like him. It's like he's easy to hate in the movie,
sure,
because he's such a good actor. But I just really like Krennic. You say what color? Green. Yeah. Krennic green. Yeah. Jay?
I don't know. I'll probably build Sabine. Either that
Answer.
or Han red, so I can play Mace.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Maybe it'll just be Han red, Falcon and Mace. That's all I need.
There you go. All right. Yeah, what'd you say last week? Someone
asked what
out.
my favorite card is, and I couldn't remember what I said, but now I remember it's Mace Windu.
You said like, cunning, I think.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, like I knew it was wrong in the moment, but I was like in the same frame of mind as just like I don't know what it was, so I don't want to like bring it up. But I then remembered that you specifically only picked red cards.
Yeah.
In your top 3.
Yeah.
Big red hero guy.
Red hero.
Well, no, and the whole thing was too, you picked 1 villain card, 1 neutral card, and 1 hero red card.
Yeah.
It's all coming back to me now.
That's good. Yeah, on the hero side, if I'm making a villain deck and I'm making a hero deck, on the hero side, I'm probably building Chirrut because I've loved playing with Chirrut. Yeah.
Trash.
He's just weird enough that I love it. And if I'm thinking about like local play, I'm like, I want to have something that's not necessarily so good.
Chewy?
Chirrut feels like,
or Chirrut?
Well, Chirrut, that's funny. It's Chewy and Chirrut. I mean, they're both kind of mid, but
true.
I think I do like Chirrut more than Chewy now.
He's your new Voltron.
He's my new Voltron. Yep.
He's easier to Voltron, so.
Specifically because of Jedi lightsaber. That thing, Jedi lightsaber on Chirrut feels so good. Like, it's just, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Next up, we just want to acknowledge, hey, there was an FFG live stream this week. Got to open the pre-release box and see some packs ripped open, which is fun to see some hyperspace cards and foils and whatever. And then Xander dropped a little bit of news about a specific event happening next weekend that the Unplayable crew will be a part of. We're really excited to go up to Minnesota and be part of the, oh gosh, what's the official name of the event?
I think Star Wars Unlimited Community Celebration.
There it is. Yes, that's right.
Nailed it.
So we're excited to go and crack some packs and cover some games and grab some interviews and continue to build hype for this game. So make sure you're tuning in, especially Saturday. I think it's like noon to 5 Central Time, where there's going to be like a 5-hour live stream on FFG doing lots of things. So
yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled for the 4 of us, because Jim's also coming. So
yep, gonna be fascinating to see what happens with this game on release.
I mean, I don't know like what else they could have done to ensure it succeeds, right? Like
they've done everything.
It feels like they've done everything possible.
Like, I want to see the second market as it develops.
Yeah, that would be
the
really
first
interesting.
month of the game. I want to see what happens. I want to see if we get any good like tournament support, third-party tournament support.
There hasn't been any like groaning about people not being able to like get product and pre-order and be allocated and stuff like
being
that.
Allocated,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a huge sign.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that was the number one concern everyone had. Like,
it's like, I'm never going to be able to get product anyway. Yeah. So but it seems like at least at the moment, it seems like it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
This community event too is probably one of the coolest things that FFG has ever done.
Oh yeah. I could have never imagined them doing something like this, and
at all.
I am so pumped that they are.
No, just another sign. It feels like this is a different company than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah, completely.
That they actually invited the 4 of us to be in person.
I know. It's crazy because they don't even watch our content. Like,
no, they're not even watching.
How do they even know who we are?
We didn't even have to apply.
I figured I'd bring back the meme because it's been a while.
We didn't even have to do a background check.
Yeah, you know of.
You guys should probably background check Jay only.
Yeah. He does live in South Florida.
True.
Florida man.
But anyway, so yeah, be tuning in. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be such an explosion of content. You won't be able to get on the internet without seeing from us and from lots of other content creators. So I'm pumped. I actually literally last night I dreamed all night that today was the day. Like, it's a week away, and I literally dreamed that I was like supposed to wake up and go to Minnesota. So that's how pumped I am for this.
What sucks like, if I miss my plane, I'm not getting there. It is literally the complete opposite side. Like, I'm as far south as you can go, and they're as far north as they can go. So, like, if I lived in Chicago, how far of a drive is it to Minneapolis?
6 hours.
Yeah. So if you miss your flight, you can just drive there. You'd be fine. Me, it'd take like 30 hours to drive there.
Yeah.
Same.
See, you guys just move here. Problem solved. You know?
Easy.
So anyways, stay tuned. That's going to be super fun in just a few days.
Oh, yeah. We've got some fun content planned as well. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. Jay's going to do a hot tub stream for Star Wars Unlimited. Yep. It's going to be real powerful content.
It's going to be
it's a box opening hot tub stream after the gym.
After the gym stream. It's just going to transition right into the hot tub. Sauna.
It's it's your post workout soak.
Yeah. I'm going to open some packs.
Now I want to go back to the hotel and figure out if we can do this. Like, just Jay. Oh gosh. Xander, please let us come. Don't watch this and reject our invitations.
Yeah.
Okay. Shifting gears a little bit. There is a TTS league put on by Take the Initiative, Rebel, Trader. They've been doing some great, just throwing out opportunities for people to play games. And there was a ton of coverage last weekend of the kind of top cut of season 0, I think they call it. And I loved it because it was literally like my whole YouTube feed that day was like, here's a live stream here and here's a live stream here and all these guys covering stuff. And it gave me a little taste of like what this could feel like.
It's going to be like when like big events are in person.
Yeah. And on the weekend, you're like, oh, like I've got a couple hours. Like, oh, I could tune into this thing and this tournament. And so admittedly, I don't know much about the league just because I didn't think I had time to do it. I think you said you signed up for the league.
I did.
For the next one.
Yeah, I signed up for the one that I think is currently going on. I haven't read all the rules yet. So I think I'm supposed to just like find somebody to play against. From what I understand, you just kind of like look for games with people who are also in the league, and you don't have to like play a certain number of games. You don't have to play at certain times. You just can't play against the same person twice. So you just try and find games against new people all the time and just play, see how it goes, I guess. And you get points for wins, points for losses. And, you know, there's a standing at the end with who has the most points.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's about to get wild now that Palpatine's out there. We got all the leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a nice shakeup. So all of this meta discussion that we're potentially about to get into is potentially moot.
Irrelevant.
Yes. Yeah. So what I wanted to cover just for a few minutes is so Rebel Trader posted some data. It's on the Discord channel, season 0.5 data. And just reminds me last week when I told you guys to talk about the website. And no, I'm not a math guy.
You're about to put Jay to sleep again.
I'm not a math guy, but I am a data guy. Okay, because the thing that drives me nuts is when people are like, okay, X, Y, or Z needs a ban, and it's like, oh, because you've lost to it a lot and you don't know how to play around it. Like, I feel like it takes it out of the conversation of like emotions, and it's more about, is it actually good? Is it actually successful, or do you just not know how to play around a certain card? So that's why I like the data. Wake up, Jay. All right. So so there was a graphic he put up. It was by leader, the amount of games played, wins, losses, and win rate. And sort of unsurprisingly to me, the number one leader played, games played, and yes, it was absolutely Chewbacca. Sure. No, it was our main man Boba Fett. 137 games played, 84 wins, 53 losses, a 61% win rate.
Nice.
It's a good win rate.
Does that surprise any of you guys?
No.
Okay.
I mean, he's good. Boba Fett's good. Like by the numbers, he's just like very, very solid. And
he was clearly the most played too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what version of
what was the
Boba
next
Fett?
most played?
Okay, the next most was
and
Luke
how many games?
Skywalker at 52 games. It went from 137 to 52.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. So it's hard to take like a ton of stock in that win rate because like
how many of it was like mirror?
Yeah, well, either mirrors or against like just random decks that aren't like good.
Like Jin Urso, who had a total of 2 games played in the entire league.
Yeah. That's probably 2 wins.
Well, it's also
right
like
there.
If it's 100% of Boba being played and it's just Boba fighting Boba, then it's gonna be a 50%.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, the jump from 137 to 52.
That's
I think that
pretty
will
significant.
I think that will change. I really do think that will change with Palpatine.
Oh, 100% it will.
But I think the more shocking number to me, it goes Boba, Luke, Krennic at 36, Vader at 35, Leia at 30, and then Sabine at 27.
Yeah, I think people like Leia better, but I think Leia is probably maybe better against Boba than Sabine is. So Sabine struggles into like Boba and yellow, like sort of mid-range tempo. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, in our series, like even Thrawn, like, you know, beat Sabine.
What's that supposed to mean?
Pretty well. I mean, Thrawn's cool, but I don't think he's as good as Boba.
Oh, you know what? I changed my comment earlier. First deck I'm building is Thrawn.
There you go. Okay.
Double yellow Thrawn.
Yeah, you can't run Mace in that unless you want to pay.
No, you can pay 9 for it. You can pay 11 for it.
11. That's fine.
Easy.
Yeah. Also, Sabine's win record was 11-16 at 41% in this league.
How many people?
Yeah, I mean, if everybody's
though?
playing Boba, like that's probably pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boba. I think Sabine sucks into Boba, which is unsurprising. But the change I expect to see here is Palpatine comes, Boba gets played less, Sabine gets played more because Palpatine is being played.
Sabine and Leia.
Yeah. Leia's great too, honestly.
Yeah. Honestly, I was more surprised to see Darth Vader at number 4. I mean, he's an iconic Star Wars character, so it makes sense if someone joins something, they want to play Darth Vader.
He is the next, like, if Palpatine's like the most like powerful, like raw power in a leader, Vader's the next one, right? And at the time, Vader's just like, you know, the 5/8 DL2 damage monster. Yeah, like that's just an attractive like leader to play, I think.
Yeah, a little bit more straightforward.
I think it also does pretty good into Boba.
Yeah.
So
anything that can one-shot a leader is going to be very good.
I think too, like even since the beginning of when the game was announced, they started showing cards. People have been playing Vader like as one of the main characters people have enjoyed playing. Mm-hmm. I think there was a point where everyone thought Vader was like the best deck at that time in spoiled cards. I don't think that's the case anymore, but
he's still
I'm not
very
surprised.
Good though.
And Luke, I mean, Vader and Luke, they're going to be played.
It's good though that they are going to be played and that they're pretty good. Because I don't know, I feel like you want those iconic characters to hit the table, even if they didn't design the card specifically that way. I think it's just like good from like an outsider perspective looking in to see like a Luke Skywalker deck be good or like a Darth Vader deck be good,
especially since there's like 5 promos for Luke and Vader.
True. Yeah, I think that's an interesting note of like for a Star Wars game to be successful, Balatik doesn't need to be at the top tables.
I think like it can be, right? But I think if all of the top decks are just like, well, and if we're comparing this to Destiny, like Destiny also had sort of like the non-unique sort of problem where it's like you can play like literally 2 Stormtroopers, Balatik, and a Night Sister. And it's like nobody like, I mean, I don't want to say nobody, right? Because somebody cares a lot about those characters, but it's like it's not as attractive as looking at like Darth Vader on the other side of the table, right? Like when you have a game like this where you have one singular leader character, they don't have to be like the most popular character ever, but they have to be cool in some way because that is like the face of your deck, and then it lets you play the more obscure characters like as cards in your deck more so than like the face of your deck.
Is you're paying for the IP, so it's like use the IP. Like if you're playing a bunch of random Stormtroopers and a Night Sister, it's like you're not using that could be any game. You could change this game to any IP.
That's also why in Destiny it's like those are the only characters you see for that entire game because you don't play characters out of your deck. So it's like your whole like headcanon of that game is just like what's going on here.
Yeah, it seems to me that that's why Boba Fett has 7 health, because having Boba Fett be a fan favorite and be very successful, coming out at 5, hitting for 4, because a lot of the other like ones around that time are 4/6s, but he's 7.
7s. Yeah.
So being at 4/7, it's like, okay, well, we want to put Boba Fett on the top tables, which I'm okay with. I love Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba Fett's cool.
Everyone likes Boba Fett.
Okay, so the bottom three.
Someone doesn't like Boba Fett, and they're about to comment. I don't like Boba Fett.
I hated the book of Boba Fett. Tusken Raiders. Spy Kids race.
It is surprising. We haven't seen a Tusken Raider yet, have we?
No.
I cannot build Beta. I can't build Beta Raider yet, but I will.
I'm like, that's very New Hope. That's very Episode 4. So the bottom three, I already told you, Jyn was last, then Hera, then Cassian. So Cassian only had 4 games, Hera had 3 games, and Jyn had 2.
And Thrawn had 0.
Thrawn was right in the middle. He's literally like right in the middle of the pack. 15 games, 5-10 record.
Was there any that had 0?
Nope. They all had at least one.
That's pretty
even
cool.
Even IG-88 had 7 games.
IG-88 had more than Hera and more than Cassian and more than Jyn. That's wild.
Going from the bottom, Jyn, Hera, Cassian, Chewie.
I mean, people
IG-88.
like playing stuff that's like thought of as bad, trying to prove that it's good. So
no, who does that?
Nobody I know.
Yeah, we need to perfect that Jyn deck that we built on the podcast 2 episodes ago, Mike. That's what this list tells me.
We need to just play it.
Look, we can't make promises on this podcast. No. Weren't we supposed to do a color wheel for all these characters?
Okay, if you listened, you heard why we didn't do that, and that's why we swerved to building the deck. But I don't expect you to listen when you're not on the podcast, Jay.
Well, good, because it ain't happening.
All right, well, yeah, like I said, all this data I think is interesting, and now Palpatine gets thrown in the middle of this, and now we're really going to see some movement. So
I am very, very surprised Sabine didn't get played more, but the fact that Boba Fett's the most popular takes away that surprise. Yeah,
I probably wouldn't play Sabine into a field of all Bobas.
Not in a Boba Fett meta.
All right, so Han Solo is the sixth from the bottom. Mm-hmm. You guys like Han Solo.
I do.
Han even had a positive win rate in this, but it was only 7 games, so it's 4-3. If Boba Fett shows up less,
I think Han gets better.
Do you think Han's value goes up?
For sure. I mean, if people move away from yellow, like he's uniquely bad into yellow because they can exhaust him, and you can't get your 7th resource for that turn.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, like you can find a way around it. Like it's not an unwinnable game at that point, but it is definitely less of a power spike than it is when you get to drop Mace or Han or Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll see what's about to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I do hope that like Boba Fett becomes a little bit less popular because I do love Han and I really want to play Han. So.
Well, everyone will be cheering for you. This is where like all the different events, all the things where we're all tracking data. Like when someone finally wins a store showdown or a plant. Wait, there's no planetary qualifiers for set 1, right? Am I misremembering that?
No.
I don't remember.
Just store showdowns.
It's just store showdowns, yeah. So maybe we won't see a ton of that, but the store showdowns might feel like the world championship for some.
But they're only best of 1, and that's a big letdown.
No, I know. It's just I think all of us are gonna be like
people being people on the internet are still gonna like want the deck list of the winning decks and like make a big deal out of it.
For sure. David will.
Yeah, we'll be talking about it on here. It'll be great. Welcome to making content.
It'll be on the website that you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
in
for
theory.
Sure. In theory and in hopes. Yes, I do hope that. I do think that'd be cool. Yeah, we didn't even talk about the other parts of that live stream. What, Jay, give us your reaction to the Mace Windu promo.
I don't need to give you a reaction, but it's fire. I'm gonna be getting it. I'm gonna be winning a store showdown and getting one of those bad boys.
That 8th place one.
It looks so sick.
It looks way better than the original one too. Way better.
It's so nice looking.
Yeah. I'm stoked for it. Absolutely stoked for it.
I gotta try and win 3 store showdowns so that I can have all 3 of them on my deck that say champion on them instead of mismatched ones.
100%.
I love that. I will sell you my champion one.
That's probably the route I'll go in reality.
Awesome. All right, guys, let's finish with some Discord questions. We threw it out there in our Discord for podcast questions, and we got a few in there. Jay Lolly, Lolli, asked, assuming you aren't playing an aggro deck yourself, how important is it to make a turn 1 unit play?
It's a good question.
Not playing aggro, how important is it?
Not playing with or against an aggro deck?
Yeah, that's interesting. He said, assuming you aren't playing an aggro deck yourself.
Okay, so if you're not playing an aggro deck, I think it matters more what you're playing against versus what you yourself are playing. Obviously, if you're playing aggro, you want to be playing a unit on turn 1 to start threatening damage.
But also, if you're playing against aggro,
you also want to be able to contest their board by playing a turn 1 play. Yeah, 100%. I think if you're playing a control mirror, you definitely don't need to drop a unit on turn 1.
Yeah. So, or mid-range.
Yeah, mid-range, I think it depends. So
like if you get a green hand with 2 super laser techs and you're playing against Boba.
Yeah, you might keep it. Yeah, like I don't feel that bad about skipping turn 1 into something that's not like trying to burn me down.
Right. I think I agree. But every other scenario, you want to have a turn 1 play.
For sure. And it depends on the turn 1 play too. Like, does your turn 1 play either shut your opponent down doing what they want to do, or does it set up your own game plan? If yes, then you want to play a turn 1 card. If not, then I think it's not as big of a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is a card in your hand. Like, it does cost a card in your hand. Sometimes it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not that you would hold it back necessarily.
Sure.
Because that's not what you're saying, right? You're not saying I would not play a 2-cost card.
You might play fewer 2-cost cards maybe in a deck, or in certain matchups. Like, you might sideboard out a couple 2-cost cards in favor of more top end, depending on how things go. Like, if you play Greedo, if you're going second and in your hand you have like Greedo is your only turn 1 play, and your opponent leads with a Sabine, like, you're probably not playing Greedo, because then they take initiative and immediately kill Greedo and you basically get no value out of your card that you played. You can save it for later. So yeah, definitely situation dependent, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you start getting into the conversation of like sideboarding in a best of 3 turn. Like, if you're not playing aggro, you've got your 12 first turn drops or whatever you have. And then middle of the game, like, okay, I'm playing against this like control deck. I'm going to drop some of these 2 drops for something that's better against control. Then it starts getting, this is like next level. This is where like the really, really good players start to show themselves, I think, because that's the stuff I'm like, oh boy, that's next level.
There's going to be a lot of that in this game, I think.
Woo. Okay, LP Panther asked, what are your favorite sleeves and storage solutions?
Ooh, good question.
Sleeves and storage.
What do you like, Jay?
I like Dragon Shield sleeves. I mean, they're always super nice. And then storage solutions, is that like big? Yeah,
is that like long-term storage or local? Or is that like bring your deck to local storage?
Right. I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of this Game Genic big tower, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I like that box a lot. And then also, I just have those crappy white. I think they're BCW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Card storage. They work fine for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
They fit in my shelves and yeah.
Sweet. What about you, David?
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. I would say I like Dragon Shield. I used to get different colors, and then I was like, "This is stupid. I should just always get black matte."
That's what I have.
Sleeves,
it's just all black sleeves. So
I always have them around, and I don't have to worry about finding. Yeah, so I'm pretty boring now. I just get that's all I get, and then storage. I do the BCW big white boxes, and then I'm still undecided what I'm doing for this game because I've done bulk like common and uncommon storage in those boxes, but I also wondered if I want to do the binder style in this game to be able to like see all the cards, because I do enjoy that process of like seeing the card and sliding them out, or even being able to see like, oh, I actually don't have any of this card when I'm going to deck build this thing, because it's hard adjusting from playing on like TTS where it's like you just play whatever,
load a deck in,
so then it's like, oh yeah, I'll just play this Tarkin deck, and I'm like, oh, I have no Imperial cards, or like I don't have enough of this thing. So I don't know. So I'll probably go the binder method for Swoo.
I don't really like deck building out of a binder, because I always end up like messing up where I'm putting my cards back, and then they get out of order and it drives me insane. So like my long-term storage / deck building storage is kind of insane. And I'll be right back and show you an example of what I have. So give me just a second.
For our audio listeners, Mike is he's left the building.
We'll edit this.
No, he won't. No, he won't.
I know.
Okay. So
he's back.
We're ready.
So here is my storage solution. It's these slide drawers from Upper Deck, and they come in like a row of 3. It's like 3 next to each other, and they slide into like a drawer basically. And then I got these like inserts custom made to fit into the slide things, and I can just like, separate them out. So I have these are all my ninja cards for Flesh and Blood. I need to put these in long-term storage, and then swap these out for Star Wars Unlimited stuff. But basically I would have like each color or a combination of colors or whatever in a different sort of sliding drawer, almost like a like a card catalog, right? And then I can just kind of like flip through them and find the cards that I need in like alphabetical order or something like that. Keep it organized and easy to assemble and disassemble decks. So that's what I do for that. I also use Dragon Shield most of the time, but I wanted to try out some Katana sleeves because I've heard that they're good. And so I sleeved up a Lorcana deck in Katana sleeves and then literally never once played in person Lorcana. So I haven't actually gotten a chance to see if they're any good or not, but I'm trying them out. Other than that, I do what you do, David, and I just have like boxes of Dragon Shield black sleeves and use those.
Yeah. All right, final question.
You got some spring cleaning to do before.
Oh, I got
Star Wars Unlimited.
Plenty of cleaning to do.
That's good.
I'm very glad that nobody can see my floor right now.
Just send me your Flesh and Blood cards. I'll take them.
All right.
Done. All right, guys. Final question from Inception. What card would you be most excited to open at the Star Wars Unlimited community celebration? Like
Showcase Palpatine.
When are you Showcase Palpatine? Okay,
that's the answer.
Anything
just screaming
for sure.
Yeah. Any showcase. Okay, let obviously showcases are the thing.
Non-showcase.
Let's do non-showcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hyperspace foil, maybe Millennium Falcon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Hyperspace foil, cunning.
Ooh.
Well, that's good too. I'm scrolling the list. I think
I would say Mace, but it's just going to be replaced with the champion Mace. Yeah. So,
art is so good.
I guess we have seen the hyperspace on that one. I would say probably the hyperspace foil Darth Vader unit.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, I really love that card, and he's like walking in and like telling the snowtroopers,
so
"Get
good.
over there!"
Yeah,
like I would scream. Like I don't care if I'm in a red yellow hero drafting deck. I'm like, this Vader is mine.
Are there hyperspace foil leaders too?
I don't know. I'm not sure that's been confirmed yet. Are there
we know
leaders?
They're hyperspace.
Are there foil leaders like normal foil?
Yes.
Because I think so.
Just not bases.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there?
I don't see why not.
Maybe? Okay.
I mean, we've seen the hyperspace IG-88 leader.
I'm just looking at only reason why I would question it is because then they would have to foil both sides of the card.
But they didn't.
They didn't with one of the judge promos, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which we didn't talk about that, by the way.
I didn't catch that part.
They only foiled one side.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Because that is tricky. I can't imagine what that. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Interesting.
All right. That's it for this week.
My daughter has been running up and down the hallway screaming this entire time. So
I love it.
I hope you guys enjoyed that.
There's a lot of parents in this game, so I'm sure they'll.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
They'll feel seen.
I'll noise gate your audio and maybe
it might not be that bad. I have the door shut and stuff. It's just she's going nuts out there.
That's good, man. She loves Star Wars too. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Lots of content coming from us for Star Wars Unlimited. So until next time, see ya.
See you guys.
Bye.